As a foam flinger, most of the options we have for blasters are pump action springers, but in a sea of them, it's hard to stand out. So today we have another pump action springer. That's not a pump action springer. Yes, this is the same blaster. This is the multi-tool. Now, before we get too far into it, we just want to say this blaster was provided for free for review by Frontline Foam. So special thanks to them. Now we also want to throw a special shout out to Doughtinator 3D. They actually provided us with a hardware kit as well, so we can have both versions built and test them accordingly. We really appreciate it. So to kick things off, we'll actually start with the carbine version. This is probably going to be the more used version out of the two. So basic overview of the blaster, obviously it's pump action. We have a skinny pusher, so obviously we can remove the magazine without needing to prime it. It is Coda and Talon compatible. We do have a stock that's adjustable. I find the shortest option is still pretty good, so I wouldn't really mess with that too much. And my favorite feature, which is the same across pretty much every single version of the multi-tool, is the adjustable spring load. So not only can you remove the spring through the back by unscrewing this back cap, like so, you can also adjust the tension on the spring, which increases and lowers FPS as you need it. And if you find a setting you like, you can actually use a little locking nub to secure it in place. Having adjustable FPS on a springer is pretty nice. There is a full Picatinny rail up top and options for more rails. There's also options for different shrouds as well if you don't really like this style or you're looking for something a little bit different. And there's also different length shrouds for different barrel sizes, so that's pretty neat. General operation of the blaster is pretty easy. And it has probably one of the most satisfying trigger pulls of any blaster that I've really used. It's comparable to an SBL. In terms of power, in this current configuration with the lower power Retaliator spring, you'll get about 100 FPS with a pretty reasonable prime. Currently, right now, we have a cut down K25 spring, and that is averaging about 185 FPS pretty consistently. But that is far from optimized. Like I said, you can change different barrel options and shrouds as you need to. And that is the carbine version of the multi-tool. Let's get into the other one. Now, when I say the other version of the multi-tool, I mean that in a very broad sense, because this is the bolt action or top prime variant of the multi-tool. But this current configuration has a few tricks up its sleeve. Right now, this can shoot 2 half-length darts or 1 full-length dart out of a single barrel. Now it can shoot mega darts. And now it can shoot a shotgun blast. And obviously, it's top prime. But if you still want something magazine fed, you can still have that option in a very small package, although it does look a little weird. Now you can add the stock back to this version or a Picatinny rail on top. I just opted to have both those options removed for a more minimalist type build. And while the spring weight is pretty light in here, the shotgun blasts weren't that impressive. And that's just to avoid putting too much stress on this pusher. Now, because this is a lower power spring, I'm not going to chronograph it because there's so many variances with the FPS in terms of what ammo type you use and what type of spring you use, what type of barrel. So with the shotgun spread, your performance is going to be a little bit lower, but I wouldn't really recommend this build for competitive anyways, because I feel like this is just more of a general plinker and for more of a close quarters, low FPS battle. All in all, the multi-tool certainly lives up to its name. The carbine variant, pretty solid offering that matches up to things like a Talon Claw or even an SBL, that has some interesting customization options that really set it apart. Now, I do have one minor gripe about this blaster. Sometimes when you go to prime it, it's actually stuck for some reason in the forward position. Not entirely sure what causes this, but it's something to do with the breech, and I haven't quite figured it out yet. And I know this is a recurring issue because this happens both with our Frontline Foam version, as well as the one we printed in-house. And has nothing to do with the spring. But usually once you get it the first time, it has no problems after that. But with the multi-tool, you certainly can have a low FPS, low risk build, or something a little bit more competitive and a higher FPS. Again, special thanks to Frontline Foam for sending us a multi-tool and with all the attachments. If you would like to purchase one yourself, please use the affiliate link down below. And special thanks to Doughtinator for sending us a hardware kit so we can build both variants. And as always, stay safe and happy foam flinging.